My name is Dr. Karen Corbin. I'm an investigator at the Advent Health Translational Research Institute. So our latest study is a pretty exciting culmination of about 7 years of work where we were trying to answer the question, is the gut microbiome important for weight management? We have some special things here at the Translational Research Institute where we can measure the entire energy balance equation from what goes into the mouth, which is of course food, and then how that food is processed and burned, and then how much of the energy that we take in do we actually absorb. We had two diets. Our control diet is a Western diet, which is the way that we sort of tend to name the typical American diet, which means low in fiber, low in resistant starch. So those diets don't have lots of fruits and veggies. The breads and the other sources of starches are refined, so there's no fiber in them. They're also they have smaller particles, which is something people ask me about a lot. What do you mean smaller particles? So a great example of that is ground beef versus a steak. So the beef is already partially broken down, or whole nuts versus peanut butter. The smaller particles are more accessible to digestive enzymes, which means that there's more of a chance of the energy going into our bodies. And the final component was that the Western diet had plenty of processed foods, which is also fairly common in those types of diets. And the microbiome enhancer diet was the complete opposite: high fiber, high resistant starch. And if you've never heard the term resistant starch, I don't blame you, because it's not something most people know about or even eat a lot of. But that comes from beans. So if you like hummus, great, that's a wonderful source of resistant starch. If you like seeds like sesame seeds, or if you like certain types of grains like quinoa, those are all great sources of resistant starch. And then on the microbiome enhancer diet, which is the name of what we sort of called our diet that we believed would really help our microbes be healthy, we avoided processed foods as much as possible. So we had people come here, we had them eat all the foods we prepared, we measured all the things about their energy balance, and we also profiled the gut microbiome pretty carefully. Even though we've always known that eating a whole foods diet that's high in fiber, high in resistant starch, we've always known this is the right thing to do, but now we kind of know why, and we know there's a reason for it. And it's part of it, at least, is because when we eat those foods, instead of starving our microbes, we feed our microbes and they expand and they grow. So whatever energy is left over in your diet that ends up reaching the colon, where most of the gut microbes live, that energy can either be taken back up by us, which would not be great if you want to shrink your waistline, or the microbes can use it. And in our case, we found that the microbes did just that. They used it to expand themselves, so they grew. And that's how we were able to find that by eating the same amount of calories, but one diet starved the microbes and one diet fed the microbes, people lost calories basically in their poop. And I know that sounds gross, but that's one way that we can become very efficient with our energy and not absorb all of it. Rather than thinking about restricting diets and you can't have this and you can't have that and eliminate all of this from your diet, what if we just reshaped our thoughts and said, have I fed my gut microbiome today? Ever since the study came out, and I've been sort of hanging on to this concept of feed your microbes. Whenever I sit down to eat something, I ask myself, is there anything on this plate that's good for my microbes? Because at the end of the day, when we starve them, we feed ourselves more. And in some instances, maybe that's a good thing. But in this particular case, where most people are trying to manage their weight, feeding your microbes has multiple benefits, even beyond energy balance.